Okay, go ahead, Al.
Okay, welcome. So we're in mid-conversation. One thing I think about starting your coaching journey that's someone gave an analogy that I liked a lot is that when you start, it is completely overwhelming and it's kind of like moving to a new place. Like you have so much stuff you need to do and you don't know where anything is. Like you don't know where the schools are for your kids. You need to find a doctor for your kids. You don't know where the grocery store is. You don't know your neighbors. Like there's just so much and it's so overwhelming and you don't know which street is which and shortcuts yet and anything like that. And so that is how coaching is until you can find a rhythm and a groove and you know where things are and you can navigate like your back office and the trainings and everything like that. And so coaching in the beginning is overwhelming, but it won't be like that forever. It's just until you kind of find your groove and your rhythm and you figure out your city, if you will. So anyways, what we don't want is for you to get so overwhelmed and then like you're so overwhelmed that you just kind of fade off into the background. We'd rather you come to us and tell us, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm thinking A, B, and C. And so then we can address whatever you're feeling overwhelmed with. So yeah.
Totally.
Cool. So any more questions? Should we just jump in? Cool. Okay.
Okay, go for it, Al.
Okay, so I feel like I didn't really start welcome, Team Empower. We're so excited that you're here with us today. Welcome to our new coaches, Carly and Melissa, who are on the call. We're happy that you're here. I ran through the sprinklers twice with my kids today, and so no makeup, and my hair is still wet. So I'm owning it and just being here for you. Just kidding. Anyway, so what I'm quickly going over, and then Lacey has some stuff to say as well, is me and Kelly and I went to a Beachbody training on the 4 vital behaviors. So all I'm doing is just gonna go over some of the notes that I wrote down, which is perfect since you guys are a little bit newer. So we just talked about what he talked about were the 4 vital behaviors, and he did it in a different order than what we usually do. So I'm just going to jump in with my notes. The very first thing he said, so the guy that was the leader, what's the name? The presenter, the host or whatever. His name is Kim Carver, and he is the senior director of training for Beachbody. He just happens to live in Utah, and I live in Idaho, so I drove down to hear what he had to say. Kendra's here, yay. Hey, Kendra.
Hello.
Okay, so the first thing he said is that a good intention is not a decision, and decisions are what make the difference. And I love that phrase because how many of us, totally me, have good intentions, and then when you don't act on them, they mean nothing. So a good intention will really get you nowhere, and a decision is what's going to take you to where you want to go. So we want to make sure that when you do personal development or listen to a training or something like that, you're always going to get fired up and you're going to feel like, that's a great idea or something like that. But if you walk away without making some sort of application, then it's pretty much pointless. So make sure that you make a decision rather than just walking away from trainings or calls with good intentions. I really liked that. So the first thing they quickly covered was recognition, which is the new vital behavior. And they wanted to give new coaches ideas of how they could recognize people if they don't have a team yet or if they're still new coaches. And so, because everyone likes to be recognized, right? I mean, just like a high five or a great job goes a long way. So if you're a new coach and you have challengers, so ways that you can recognize your challengers would just be simple private messages or shouting them out in the group. Or you could do just a Facebook post on your own page about it doesn't even have to be about weight loss or anything like that, about consistency or any personal goals that they might have. Let's see, what else did they say? Oh, if they completed a challenge group. I like that. We've never done that. I was thinking we should do that every time, like every time we finish a challenge group. I love what Stacy did, how she had all the pictures of her challengers and had like the total weight loss for the group and everything like that. And then with their permission, tag them in it. If they completed a training, let's see, or any team recognition, okay? And I love the idea of consistency too. So even if you're a newer coach, you still have the opportunity to recognize people in your groups. Someone also said you could recognize people that are involved with Beachbody at all. You know, if you have a marathon runner or someone that inspired you, a friend that inspired you, you could recognize them on your page so people can see that you're not just about Beachbody, that you're just, you know, you're focused on health and fitness, and that might cross over barriers to people who are like, want to stay away from Beachbody just because it's MLM or something like that. I thought that that was a really good idea. Recognition is something I'm not good at. I don't really like rewards and stuff like that. I never know what I've won or anything like that. That doesn't drive me at all. Like, I never know I have won. Like, I didn't know I won a photo op till Stacy texted me and was like, I won a photo op. I'm like, oh, did I win one? Or, you know, when Lacey got something, like, oh, I'm going to go see if I won it. Stuff like that doesn't really drive me. And so I am working on it. To my coaches, I will try better to recognize my team. It's not one of my strengths. Okay, so the next vital behavior was product of the product. And the main question he asked for this section was why? Like, why would being a product of the product be important? So I just want to ask that to you guys, actually. Why do you think being a product of the product is one of the vital behaviors?
People need to see that we're also on this journey.
Yeah, I love that. People want to see that you're not like this perfect person, right? They want to watch you on your journey. I love that. That's perfect. Being relatable.
I also think that when you're a product of the product, you give kind of a sneak peek to people who really might not know what it is at all. So, you know, video clips or just several different photos kind of show like the moves, and people will be like, oh yeah, I think I could do those moves. I might give it a try. So I think that that's important too.
Perfect. I totally agree with that. It exposes people to your journey, which will then give them the courage to think that they could do. If you're doing it, then they can do it. I love that so much. Anything else?
I think that one of the benefits of being a product of the product is it gives you your own, what's the right word? Like your own, the only word I could come up with is testimony, like your own belief in it. And it allows you to speak from experience and to share something that has changed your life and something that you like and that you have passion about because you're using it and you love it and you enjoy it. And so you're not just speaking about a product, you're speaking about your experience. And I think the reason why that's like such a big thing for me is I know my sister-in-law is really involved in another multi-level marketing company, and she's at the top and she's like, I can get you in, you can make so much money, this will be amazing. And I was like, I don't like the product. I don't use the product. I don't like, it would be all about money. And I don't want to share something just for the money. I want to share something because I love it and I'm passionate about it. And I think that being a product of the product allows you to have that passion and to share something that you love, and it's not just a job. It's something that you are actually using.
I love that. That's perfect. Thanks, guys. So he gave 7 different examples. Most of them you've already covered. The first one he said, first reason is that it brews confidence, which is true. Once you can, you know, I know one of the main things I came out of with my first challenge group is that I started something and I actually finished. I actually finished a fitness program, and that made me feel confident. The second thing is belief that the products work. The products work. You need to be a customer first. And he said 71% of Diamond coaches were customers first. When you do these programs, you believe in the product because they work for you. And when you believe in the product, it's so much easier for you to then recommend the program to other people. The third reason is commitment. It keeps you accountable. And right now, one of the main reasons I am so grateful for coaching is because I know if I wouldn't have signed up to coach, I probably wouldn't be as consistent. Not probably. I know I wouldn't be as consistent with my workouts as I am now. I feel very accountable to the graduate group, to my team of coaches, to Strong Fit Mamas. You know, that's a real big drive for me to pull my butt out of bed in the morning and actually get my workout done. The fourth reason he said was credibility. Your network, meaning your friends and family on Facebook, they're seeing what you're doing. And by being a product of the product, you are lending yourself credibility that you know what you're doing, at least with this product. Not saying that you're a personal trainer or a nutritionist, but that you know the program. This fifth one is experience. Obviously, we all need experience with the products that we're selling, and you can learn to help people with those products. I know for me, I loved 21 Day Fix, and it was easy for me to talk about with people, but after I had my baby, then I had to figure out, okay, how do I do 21 Day Fix while I'm nursing? Okay, so then that's the new knowledge that I have that I can help people, and I've had several people message me just with that question. Like, I want to do 21 Day Fix, or I want to lose weight. How do I do that and maintain my milk supply? So being a product of the product gives you experience, which will draw your network to you. The sixth one is knowledge. And the seventh one, which he said was the most important, is that it gives you discipline. And I love that one because I feel like really the backbone of coaching is consistency and discipline. Being a product of the product for me has definitely taught me how to start something and see it through and finish. Before my challenge group, I had never started a program and finished. I quit P90X like 7 times, but I did Shalane Extreme and I stayed with it, and it really taught me, was the beginning of me learning how to be disciplined. And we are I just did a post about this, and it frustrates me, but I understand it because I used to be like this, that we are such a quick fix generation. Okay, they call us the microwave generation because we want things now, we want things quick, and if it's not ready, we'll move on to something else. But we don't need a quick fix. We need discipline. It's the same thing with your coaching journey, you guys. This isn't a quick fix. This isn't a get rich quick thing. You need discipline if you want a successful business. And he gave an example of, he called it discipline and stew. And Kim Carver said that when he was young, they were really, really poor. And once a year, his mom would make this stew that had a bunch of vegetables and red meat. And it was the only time they ever had red meat growing up. And so when it was time to eat, all his siblings would gather on the table and they'd all start dishing up their bowls. And they all wanted one thing, and that was the meat. They didn't really care about the carrots or the potatoes or whatever the green stuff was in it that he said. It was probably kale is what he had said. He said all they wanted was the meat. And he compared that to coaching, that you, even though you want just the meat, or it's easy to do one of the vital behaviors, you can't have a whole stew unless you're doing every single one, every single portion of the recipe. So maybe the kale isn't fun to eat, but it's part of the recipe. You have to eat it if you want it to be a complete recipe. Does that make sense? He was hilarious when he was telling the story. I'm not so funny. So, okay, he said, we're in the business of discipline. You have to do the things you don't want to do. And there's a book called Eat That Frog, too. That's another one you can read for your personal development. And they just make reference to, if you had a bunch of frogs that you needed to eat, a bunch of small ones, and there's a big one, the one you don't want to eat is that big frog that's staring you in the face. And so what you need to do is eat that frog first, that big frog first, and all the little ones seem easy. So the thing you don't want to do, like inviting, which is most of us, okay, inviting is the one that we steer clear of the most, do that first. Like when you sit down for your business hours, do that first. Okay, so that was product of the product. The next part he talked about was inviting. And he said, don't technique people. So you all know when you're being scripted, when you're being sent something, I've had a lot of people send me something where I know for sure I'm being scripted because I've received the same message from someone else, word for word. And in the beginning, we do provide you scripts so you can figure out how to navigate a discussion or reconnect, but make sure to make it your own. So it's good to have something to reference, but eventually you will become more comfortable in like your vocabulary with the product and the business, so it'll be easier to talk to people. Okay, so when he talks about your network when it comes to inviting, again, your network being like your Facebook, okay, your friends and family, the people who are watching you and following you. He said that your network is the second most important business asset, is your network, okay? It's the second most important business asset. What do you think the first one is? What's your most important business asset?
Yourself.
Yourself, yes. You are your most important business asset, okay? Product of the product, okay? you are your most important asset. So you need to make sure you're taking care of you as well and focusing on you too. Okay, so a part of inviting, he says that you need to track your contacts. Okay, don't just be adding people to your network and not knowing who they are or where they're going. You need to track your contacts. In your training, you should have made a contact list with the memory jogger. I hope you do that. You did that. We didn't when we started, and we still regret it to this day. Whenever you meet someone, add them to your list. Or when you add them to your network, add them to your list. You need to build your pipeline daily, meaning you need to be adding people to your list. Okay, so we talked about that in Coach Basics. We'll talk about it, Carly. You'll hear that more in Coach Basics as well. Make sure you're adding people to your network. 3 is to create experience opportunities. And he said he used to call that adding value. We talk a lot about adding value, and what he calls it is experience opportunities. And the analogy he gave was going to Costco and seeing the samples. And he said that he walked by a sample lady, cute little old lady, giving samples of ham. And they're $50 ham. He's like, no way, I don't need a $50 ham. That's stupid. And his kids wanted to taste the ham, so they all were over there tasting the ham. And he tastes the ham. He's like, dang, this ham is good. And all of a sudden, he's walking into the store with a $50 ham. And so you talked about the importance of offering experience opportunities, okay? So free groups, okay, would be an example of an experience opportunity. Offering value, fitness tips, recipes, doing a fit club, which I still have not done, but I want to do a fit club. And just being active and present on your page and offering that value. Provide more value than what you're being paid for. Okay, so, and that's the truth. Like, you are going to be offering and helping people a lot for free, and that's okay, you know, because you're adding value and you're helping people. Okay, so inviting within your network. Let's see. He said what Carl said, which we've also said. Well, a lot of people are saying things here. That inviting is broken up into 3 different aspects. Okay, so it's not just sending out a scripted, hey, join my challenge group. Carl says inviting incorporates attracting, connecting, and then inviting. So first you're attracting people to you. And for me, that's done through good, valuable content on my social media. So when I send out a friend request, they're going to come to my page and they're going to check out my page before they accept my request. And if I'm just blasting Beachbody, they are not going to accept my request. I know that when I'm sent a friend request and I go check them out and all I'm seeing is their business, I don't want that in my feed, so I don't accept that request. So when people come to you and they're checking you out, you need to make sure you are a storefront that they want to go into, okay? You need to be offering value on your page. And that doesn't mean every page needs to be super deep and emotional, okay? It can be funny, it can be lighthearted, it can be something you learned about being a mom. It can be anything, okay? Just make sure it's not all of one thing. You want to be adding value in your posts. And we have different calls on that, but please don't just take a picture and say Motivation Monday or sweaty selfie or anything like that. You want to make sure you're adding, because that's not adding value to anybody. That's just not, just don't do that, okay? Okay, so attract, connect, and invite. So also when a part of the attracting section, when you're going to start talking to people through reconnects, hopefully. And if you're not comfortable talking to people, there's a little breakdown of things that you can talk about called forming people, F-O-R-M, okay? When you form someone, it means you're talking about their family, their occupation, their recreation, and their, Lacey?
Message, your message.
Message, thanks, Melissa. Okay, so that just gives you opportunities that you could bring up what you're talking about. So talking about their family, occupation, recreation, and then dive in with your message. Okay, so when you're connecting with people, so that's attracting people to you. When you're connecting with people, he says that you understanding someone's goals, which you want to understand people's goals, but understanding someone's goals is not understanding their needs, if that makes sense. So they might say, I want to lose 10 pounds, but you want to understand their deeper need for that so you can connect to them. Have someone then turn that need into a goal. So once you get talking to them and you find out, or for example, if they tell you, if they, they're working 2 jobs, okay, their need is finances. Maybe you can lead into a coaching opportunity. Or if they're talking about being run down with their kids, okay, you can turn that need into a goal for them and then offer a solution for them. What we want to do is not just push product or push challenge groups. We want to offer solutions to people. So by talking to them, you're trying to figure out their needs and then match their need with a solution. So that's another reason why we don't want to just suggest a program without figuring out what their goals are, what their needs are, because maybe you suggest 21-day fix, but you don't know that they're already super active and they have no weight to lose and they're looking for muscle definition. Okay, well then you want to suggest something else, like Chalene Extreme or Hammer and Chisel, Body Beast, whatever. So you don't just want to blanket suggest a program. Figure out their needs and then match that need with a goal. Okay. And the last thing he said about this section is that you want to listen to understand, not to respond. So when you're talking to someone, don't just be gunning for the opportunity for you to invite them to a challenge group. You want to listen to what you're saying, listen to what they're saying. Listen to understand them, not just to respond to them. Okay, hope that makes sense. That's just good advice for any situation. Okay, so the next section, which is the last one, is personal development. And I love personal development, and I am a big believer in personal development. If you want a successful business, you need to grow yourself. Okay, so network marketing is awesome and it's super forgiving, so you can still be earning money while you're learning, but you need to constantly be learning while you're earning. Okay, so you need to continue to better yourself. He said, you are your most worthwhile investment. And I love that so much. He said, like we talked about earlier, you are your number one asset for your network is you. Okay, and because of that, you are your number one investment. You have to invest in you. So yes, that comes with being a product of the product. Okay, you're investing in your health, but you also need to invest in your mind, in your knowledge. Okay, if you want to run a business, you kind of need to know how. Okay, so I know for me, I didn't know how to run a business in the beginning. I didn't know anything about network marketing. I didn't know much about being a leader, leading a team, presenting anything. Okay, these are all things, or having confidence. These are all things that you continue to put in your brain so you can learn and grow. I'm a huge advocate of personal development. Okay, and he posed the question, what could you be, or if you work on yourself, what could you be? Okay, if you had all the time in the world, that you didn't have kids, you didn't have a job, all you had to work on was you. Okay, what could you be? Okay, and he really gave you the opportunity to dream and think about, wow, like what could I be? What could I do with that? Lacey, when I was talking on the phone with her today, I loved the question she had. She said, if Beachbody was a magic wand, how did it go, Lace? If Beachbody was a magic wand,
what would it create for your life? Like what would it make your life?
Yeah, I love that. If Beachbody was a magic wand, what would it create for your life? Okay. And I want you to write that question down. I want you to ponder it when we're done with this call. If Beachbody was a magic wand, what would it create for your life? And allow the opportunity for you to break free of any insecurities you might have, because it's just a magic wand. Okay. I want you to really dig deep and think, what would I want Beachbody to do for me? Would I want it to just give me play money? Would I want it to supplement some income? Do I want to bring my husband home? Do I want to take my kids on vacation? Do I want to give more to charity? Okay, just anything that you think that you couldn't do if it was a magic wand, what would you do? And allow yourself to think you can do it, because it's so, you guys, we see our challengers come through these groups, and you guys know this because you were challengers too, and you're going to see your challengers do this too, and they start out not believing in themselves at all. And I know this because that's how I was when I started. And at the end of that group, wow, you guys, it is so empowering to see someone say, I did it. I was just talking to someone today who'd gone through a group who said, I've never done this without using diet pills. And now here I am. I lost 10 pounds without using diet pills. And she was ecstatic, and she believed in herself that she could do it. And this coaching journey is no different, you guys. In the beginning, you don't think you can do it. But then you start changing one life. And then you change 2 lives. And then 3 lives. And then you bring people on, and they're changing people's lives. And you are empowered, and you realize, you know what? Oh my gosh, I think I can do this. And you start believing in yourself. I can do this. And there is a lot of power behind the mindset of belief. When you believe you can do something, man, you're pretty unstoppable. Oh boy. I guess hide and seek in my room right now. That's fun. Okay. So anyways, if I could work on myself, what could I be? He says hard work is the great equalizer. And I love that so much because it's true. You could have all the talent in the world, but if you don't apply it, you're not going to get very far. Okay. Or if you have no talent, you could still go really far as long as you're willing to put in the effort and the hard work. And so it's not easy, this business, and you get a lot of no's and negativity in this business. And that's why we do personal development, to fill our minds. But if you put in the hard work, that is a great equalizer, guys. If you're not good at presenting, or if you're lacking leadership, or if you're not good at recognizing people, okay, you work on that and you put in that hard work, and it becomes a great equalizer, and you can do whatever you want to do. So that is what the training was on. It was great. I loved it. If there's ever a training in your area, you should go to it because it rocks. Okay, Lace.
That's awesome. So I think that just really quickly wanted to connect to what Allie was saying, and this will probably make a little more sense to some of our more seasoned coaches, but will be helpful for our newer coaches going in as well, because it's a huge stumbling block that stood in my way. And that is, you need to be intentional with your business. And with that, what I mean with that is you need to go into, your invites, your the posts on your page, your conversations with intention. A lot of times we feel like, I don't want to be a used car salesman. I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to make people do something. And I agree, you don't. That's not what you want to do. But at the same time, you don't want to sit back and feel like, hey, I'm putting out value. I'm being a product of the product. I am sharing my journey. Why aren't people coming to me? Why am I having these conversations with people and they're not asking me about, my coaching in my groups? And 9 times out of 10, it's because they're thinking about their own life. They're not really even thinking about what's happening with you. And so my huge suggestion is to be intentional. And so when you are sending out messages to reconnect to people, be interested in what they have to say and build that relationship. But don't go into it thinking, oh, I'm just building a relationship, and if they end up joining me, that'd be a perk. No, this is your job, and this is what you're doing. You're running a business. Go into it with 2 goals. 1, to help them, to reconnect with them, to build a relationship with them, and 2, to help them. And the way that you can help them is through a group and through coaching. And so as you are exchanging conversations and exchanging questions, even if they don't ask you about Beachbody, you can, even if they say, how's your summer? You can say, oh, my summer is busy. It's crazy. We're traveling all over, but I am so thankful for my groups and my coaching to help keep me on track, because I would just be all sorts of lost without them, or something that one of the people that I coach said this today, or whatever it is. Bring it into your conversations. Be intentional with what you're saying and steer those conversations in the direction that you want to have them. That's not being pushy. That's not being, that's not helping them. It's just helping them to be able to share the information with them that you want to share. It's the same thing with your Facebook page. Something that I have finally learned is when people comment, we all know that you want to comment back so you can get, your post into more feeds. but it's also another opportunity to be intentional, to, you know, respond to their comment, tell them they're doing a great job, and then say, what are your current fitness goals? What are you working on? Which then steers the conversation into you being able to invite them to your group, or you being able to tell them about coaching, or to share with them what you're doing. So being intentional with what you are doing isn't being pushy. I spent forever just sitting back and feeling frustrated, like I'm doing all the right things and this isn't happening in front of me. And I realized that I was going through the motions. I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, but I wasn't being intentional with what I was doing. So it's kind of like saying, yeah, I'm working out every day, but in reality, what you're doing is scrolling through on demand and just randomly picking the shortest workout or what sounds fun or what would be interesting. That's not going to get you results. You're working out, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, but you're not following a program that's going to get you results. So that is one huge tidbit of advice that I would give to you is it's important to be patient and to plant seeds, but it's also important to plant intentional seeds with your comments, with your messages, with your reconnects, with your posts. Remember, this is your business. You can run a business, and the way you do that is by being intentional with your time, with what you are doing. So that's kind of a little bit of like an aha moment that I've had recently that I wanted to share with you guys to hopefully help you avoid some of the stumbling blocks that I've fallen over is and allow you to grow your business in the way that you want to do it and not feel like you have to just be patient and sit back and, you know, say, oh yeah, you'd be good at coaching. Let me know if you're interested. Or yeah, I'm running a group. Let me know if that might be something you'd like to do. But to be bold and not rude and not pushy, but to be bold and confident in what you have to say and be intentional with what you're sharing. So that's what I wanted to kind of share with you guys today. Do you guys have any questions about what we've talked about? Anything that's come to mind? Anything that we can help you with?
Can I just make a comment?
Yes, please.
Most of you probably don't know this, but I'm an elementary school teacher, so I found it so hard to just sit here and listen. I'm used to doing all the talking. But thank you. It was awesome. I hope I get to do more calls soon.
That's awesome. I love it. Well, feel free to talk as much as you want to talk in our calls. It's all about conversation for sure. So, all right. Well, you guys are doing awesome. We're super proud of you. Thank you for making it to our call tonight. It was so great to have Melissa and Carly for your first call. Welcome again to Team Empower. We're so excited to have you here. Please know that we are all in this together. We're all a team. We're all working together for the same purpose, and that's to help change lives. So we're thankful to have you here and know that we're here for whatever you need. So have a great night, guys.
All right, you too.
Bye.
Yeah.